Welcome, everyone. I think we still have some people coming into the room, so we'll just give it 30 more seconds and then we'll get started here. All right. We are going to get started with the Attendee Creativation Plus featuring Art Materials World's attendee orientation. I'm Peter Finn. I'm the Executive Director of the Association for Creative Industries. And really the purpose of today is to get everyone oriented and really how to strategize to get the most out of your experience. So I kind of think of it as very similar to the Know You Before You Go, if we were all able to convene and see one another face to face. But we're going to be talking a little bit about, how to really get the most out of it. And one of the reasons why we chose the platform of Swapcard is because of the AI function. So, and I mentioned that because really the system works by kind of feeding off your profile. So what you're putting into it and sort of building out how you're building out your profile, that's going to match you up with exhibitors. It's going to match you up with other people that are also attending the event. So it's a really powerful engine, and we feel that it's a real value add. So starting on, we'll hear more about this as we go on, but starting on March 8th, Monday, you'll be able to start building out your profile, and we have a number of different resources that will help guide you. So, but I just want one caveat. Really, the purpose of today is not really kind of the how-to, but more of the strategy piece, how to really get a lot out of the experience. And if there are technical questions that come up, we'll try to feed some things through the chat, the resources that we've developed. And I have my colleagues here, Jackie Janis and Ryan Cashman and Janet Rapp as well, who will also be here to answer questions once we have some brief remarks from our MCs. So with that, I just want to introduce our MCs for the Creativation Plus event. Really excited to have them. We have some pre-recorded remarks. We have AV Perkins, who is a DIY expert and also the creator of avdoeswhat.com. And then we have David Pyle, who has an extensive background in marketing, creative products, as well as publishing. We're really excited to have both of them. And they'll be with us throughout the week, really guiding, getting people excited, and really bringing that sense of community online. So with that, I think we'll start with, we'll get some of the remarks from our MCs, and I think Ryan's going to play the video.
Hey everyone, my name is David and I'm here with AV today, and we're going to chat with you about Creativation Plus, featuring Art Materials World and how you can make the most out of your experience with the event.
That's right. We are getting closer to the event, and it is never too early to prepare. David and I want to make sure you have all the information you need to get the most out of the event. We know this year it's a little bit different for both AFCI and NAMTA communities, but that's what makes it so exciting. There are a lot of opportunities waiting for you at Creativation Plus. You just need to grab them.
Yeah, indeed. So you might be wondering why AV and I are doing this today. So let's start with a couple of quick introductions. Again, I'm David Pyle. I've been part of this community for like 4 years. I started as an art materials retailer. I then became a consultant and did lots of marketing and sales consulting across the industry. I became the director of marketing and a brand director for one of the largest art materials brands in the world. And then I moved into publishing, and I've been the publisher of a number of different art and craft magazines. Quilting magazines, jewelry making magazines, knitting and crocheting, and then lots of art making as well. So I love these shows. I love the sense of community that comes out of them. So what about you, AV?
Well, hey everyone, my name is AV. I'm a DIY expert, influencer, and a digital host for HGTV. David and I are your Creativation Plus MCs, and you may have already seen our videos floating around, these social media channels, but we are giving you all the activities, all the sessions, like all the deets about all of that. And I am so excited to be here with you, David.
Yeah, me too. So today's webinar is going to focus on how do you make the most of the experience. We're not necessarily going to dive into the how-tos of the platform because you can find resources for that. And we've got things like that at creativeindustries.org that'll really help you dig into the nuts and bolts. Instead, we're going to give you some tips on how best to prepare, how to use the platform's AI matchmaking functionalities, and how to connect and have fun during the event and more. And I just got to share, I was thinking about in the past, every time you get advice as to how to get the most out of shows, everybody says, wear good shoes, right, AV?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for this, I'm wearing my flaming Chuck Taylor All-Stars. So they may not be great for walking, but I wanted to use these to set this up for Q&A. So you can ask us any questions that you want. I'll take any query that comes my way. Put my feet to the flame because they're already on fire.
You know what? I love the sound of that, and I love myself some Chuck Taylors. Add a little bedazzle to it, maybe?
Absolutely.
Come around, Dave? Okay. Well, we are going to just talk about what is the biggest tips for this presentation. You need to use the week prior to the event. Starting March 8th, that is when you, me, we, us, all are given access to familiarize yourself with the platform. Build out your profile and agenda, make connections, schedule meetings, the whole 9 yards. Let's dive in and talk about each of those areas. A great place for us to start is the importance of building your Creativation Plus featuring art materials world profile. I like to think of this as your virtual profile. It's like your event badge. And the pieces of information that are included are your ribbons that help other people identify your role at the event and within the industry. Like, I would love that mine would say MC on it so I can find other MCs like David. The Creativation Plus platform uses the information provided to make better recommendations throughout the event, such as who do you like to connect with and sessions you might want to attend.
Exactly. So the more you build out your profile, AV, not only the better that other attendees and exhibitors are going to be able to find you, but also the better the recommendations that you'll get from the platform itself and from the artificial intelligence engine that derives all of that. So the sections of your profile include an About Me section. It includes links to your social media accounts, to your company, your contact information. Also make sure to upload a profile picture. Profile pictures are more approachable. And if you recently knitted a hat, like me, I've got another one that I've knitted for the event. Make certain that you include that in your picture too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, make sure you add your hat, David, and your scarf too, because they are very approachable. Just as you can build out your profile to help the AI matchmaking function do its magic, you can also build out your agenda portion of the Creativation Plus account. Not only will this help you keep track of everything that you want to explore and attend throughout the event, but similar to the components of your profile, the session and events you add to your agenda will help the platform recommend other sessions and events you might be interested in. I'm so excited about that. Like, just imagine you type in your YouTuber and then you have all of these events that have to do with YouTube, content creation, that the matchmaking tool did for you. You can find all the Creativation Plus sessions and events within the schedule event area of the platform. Each of the 5 days of Creativation Plus contains at least one networking event, various education sessions, and an exhibit hall time.
Yeah, no kidding. So hold the phone. I think it's important that we note here, AV, that with a virtual event like Creativation Plus, the exhibit hall is always, and I'm underscoring, always open for attendees to browse. So you can visit it virtually anytime, visit any virtual booth anytime you want, 24/7, middle of the night. So the exhibit hall hours are listed on the schedule as the official exhibit hall hours. But this is when exhibitors will have staff available to answer questions and to connect with you using the platform. We're going to talk a little bit more in just a few minutes about how to connect with the exhibitors later on.
You can view your agenda as a complete schedule by your networking activities, such as the people you connect with or message, and view your bookmark exhibitor companies. If you click on My Meetings, this will allow you to build a schedule of availability for other attendees and exhibitors to view and use when reaching out to connect.
Yeah, so we recommend that you use the week leading up to the event to look through the schedule of events and then add sessions that you know you want to attend. Creativation Plus features a mixture of live and pre-recorded sessions, which are going to always be followed by a live Q&A with the speakers. So you can identify live sessions by the red live indicator. There's a little red thingy that's going, and take note of this as it'll help you plan your time. Okay, so we've provided a little bit of insight already into how the virtual exhibit hall is going to work and the flexibility that a platform like this gives for you and your browsing experience. But we want to give you a few more tips about how to explore and connect with the exhibitors who are also online. So our first tip is to explore the exhibitors the week prior to the event. Attendees are given access to the virtual platform on March 8th, so that's coming up, and that allows you to browse and make a plan. So take note of who you want to connect with and what booths you want to visit during the exhibit hall hours. And then you can bookmark those companies, and you can find them easily again in your My Agenda section.
Our second tip is to connect with exhibitors during exhibit hall hours. You can message them directly on their booth page, or you can book one-on-one meetings by selecting one of the open times listed on their page. I mean, the convenience of that. You just book and go, click and go, and you can book one-on-one times with them. Here's a challenge for you. Say yes to connecting with new companies at Creativation Plus. Set a goal for how many new companies you want to connect with, and then surpass that goal.
Awesome. So, and we know that you want to explore new products. This has been such an interesting year, and so many manufacturers have been busy with lots of new product development. So there's a wealth of new stuff to find, and you can find new products listed in each exhibitor's booth, also within the buyer's guide. And we also recommend exploring the new product showcase, which has always been a staple and a fan favorite at Creativation and at NAMTA every year. Okay, so we've covered a little bit about where you can find the education sessions at Creativation Plus, and then you can add them to your agenda for a smooth running event. And now we want to provide you with some tips on how to make the most of those education sessions. First and foremost, we can't say it enough, plan ahead. Know what you want to get out of each education session on your agenda, prepare questions in advance, look up the presenter. Well, don't stalk, but you can certainly look him or her up in advance. And then you can learn a little bit about them beforehand, learn a little bit about them beforehand. And this will all add to your experience with the session.
You know, David, I like to call it careful observation, not stalking. Last year, I did get the privilege of being a presenter at Creativation, and I think some of the best tips I can give is engage with the presenter. Sometimes as an attendee, you think, oh my gosh, the presenter is such far distance away from you, but we are all here to network, and something you may be able to add value to them, and they'll be able to add value to you. So continue building on those relationships in this time. Speakers at Creativation are looking forward to engaging with you during live Q&A through polls and using the chat feature during the session. The more you engage with the content and the speaker, the more you, other attendees, and the presenter get out of the session.
Absolutely. And along with the regular education sessions, AV, Creativation Plus is also featuring vendor sessions. And this is something in particular I'm looking for. I don't know how many times at past shows I've had to miss some of those because I couldn't get them all done during the course of the show. But with this virtual show, you can get everything. These sessions that are pre-recorded by vendors are going to be available for live interactive Q&A during the session as the video plays as well. And don't forget, one of the great opportunities of a virtual event is the ability to watch the sessions, those from the regular education sessions and the ones from vendors that you missed live on demand. The content of Creativation Plus is going to be available to you for 3 months after the event, so you can catch up on everything that you may have missed, or you can rewatch what you loved.
3 months, that is a good amount of time. And I love that there are vendor sessions because that allows people, especially influencers, to learn how brands are using and how they intend their products to be used. Straight from the source. Love it. Creativation Plus has a variety of networking events for you to choose from. International attendees are invited to join Monday's Global Connection Plus networking session to connect, discuss challenges, and share success stories. On Tuesday, all attendees are invited to Birds of a Feather, where subject matter experts will lead discussions on key topics including going beyond back to normal, social media and craft, STEM versus STEAM, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. On Thursday, join AFCI's in New Emerging Leaders and NAMTA's Next Generation at the Emerging Leaders discussion to discuss the impacts of COVID-19 and the industry's future. During the outside of these events, you can connect with attendees using the message and chat function of the platform. It's a lot of networking going on. I like it.
Yeah,
Like it a
yeah,
lot.
but that's one of the things that makes this stand out. So our advice is to bring the same kind of flair and excitement to your virtual networking that you would in person. So yeah, a little doing the dab, whatever you need to do to bring some character and flavor to this. So turn on your camera if you're comfortable doing so, and make yourself camera ready, and show off any new hat or anything else that you may have recently knitted, or show off your favorite shoes. We can have a contest for the best shoes at the show. And then
We
you
should
can
definitely
be
have
part
shoes.
of the fun. And you could also add one of these Creativation Plus Zoom backgrounds. I love mine. I keep mine on all the time.
And that is a great point. And lastly, you can connect with fellow attendees within the discussion section of the platform. Discussion forums are a great way for you to connect with each other on hot topics and trends, including success stories from 2020 and whatever you have coming up next. Well, everyone, we are about at that time. David, how ready are you for Creativation Plus?
I am so ready. When we were first approached about doing this, I thought, it's going to be a digital thing, and I think I know what digital things are about, but actually, I had no idea. This platform works wonderfully, and I'm really excited about the chance to connect with some people in some ways that I thought I wasn't going to be able to do until we were able to do it in person next year. So what a pleasure to be part of this. What a pleasure to be part of this with you, AV. You're delightful. And what a great opportunity for all of us to be able to come together and take advantage of the things that are cooking within our industries. So, everybody should please remember that there's lots more information at creativeindustries.org. You can find all the details that you need to make the most of this. But I can't wait to dive into this. AV, I can't wait to see you as we work through all of this. And can't wait to see everybody else there. Thanks so much.
All right, that was excellent. We want to thank David and AV for a fantastic overview, as well as the staff that helped put that together. I think it'll be really helpful for folks that weren't able to attend today, and hopefully everyone got a lot out of that. But we know that there are likely some questions about the attendee experience, and I had mentioned I have my colleagues Jackie and Ryan and Janet, and also have Nikki, who's our marketing lead for the event. So what we'd like to do is to take some of your questions, answer as many as we can. I do want to know, which is kind of interesting, is that I think we have more people on for this session, for this attendee webinar that we did last year, ahead of our Creativation meeting and show in Phoenix. So great to see that so many folks are on. And I also just want to give a shout out to NAMTA. Many, thanks for their partnership, and we're so excited to have them as part of Art Materials World, as being part of Creativation Plus. So with that, why don't we kick off with some questions, and we can just get through these and hopefully get through all the questions over the next, we have about half hour left, or maybe more. Okay.
I think we have about 25 minutes, Peter.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, hi everyone, I'm Jackie, and as Peter said, Ryan's here as well. If you guys have questions, please put them in the Q&A function of the Zoom, and we'll kind of take them live.
Yeah, and I've been talking about with a couple different people, especially as they're trying to get their strategy, focused in, and I always try to if I could always put a roadmap, the teacher in me would love to always try to give a roadmap. So something that I like to lead off as a general statement is, as you're putting your strategy together for this upcoming week, and I'm kind of talking as questions are coming in, it's good to kind of think about your ramp up into 4 different parts. You want to look at your profile, you want to see who you want to connect with, you want to see what you want to learn, and the final thing is you want to see how else you want to interact with the platform. And so, there's a lot of, if you can kind of use those snackable ways to give yourself a good onboarding for the week of the 15th, that all can be done on this prior week. So I see some questions coming in right now, but just to kind of keep that in the back of your mind, that instead of saying, oh, I have to take on this whole entire virtual platform, we're looking for 4 different buckets that really help maximize your experience, which I hope a lot of the questions will stem from.
Yeah. And I can help answer some of the questions that just came in. So we had a question regarding downloading the platform. So Swapcard, which is the tool that we're using for Creativation Plus, will be web-based, and it also is available via mobile app. So there is going to be a direct email sent to all registrants on Monday, which will include a direct link into the platform for you to create your username and password. And then from there, if you do choose to download the mobile app, that's also an option, and you would use the same credentials logging in. So there's no platform to be downloaded per se, unless you wanted to use the app. It's all web-based. You can use Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, whatever you have on your computer. And then another question came in about creating profiles, whether they're done per person or per store. So each individual that's registered will create their own profile. So they'll be done more on a personal basis as a registrant. Our exhibiting companies have company profiles, which will be kind of in a virtual booth, if you will. So they'll have a company profile, but then the individuals working those booths will have personal profiles as well. So as a registrant, as a buyer, a DIYer, creator, whatever whatever category you fall into, you'll create your own personal profile. And then if you have others from your shop that are attending as well, you will be able to put your company information in that profile, so you guys can connect that way as well.
So we have a couple in the Q&A. Can multiple people, either from one business or an outside rep, attend appointments together?
So within the platform, the video meeting component is 1-to-1. So you're not able to have group meetings that are on video. However, if you do want to set up an appointment with a group, we are recommending that you still set up the appointment in Swapcard. However, in the request for the meeting, indicate a different platform if you want to meet as a group. So if you have a Zoom account or a Google Meetup or Microsoft Teams, something to that effect. But the video appointments that are in Swapcard are strictly 1-to-1.
And I saw another question here too. I can take that live. Has there been any further discussions about any practical sessions like make and takes, shopping class kits, things like that? So here is where we have vendor sessions in the schedule of events. Not every vendor session is like a demonstration of a make and take. Sometimes it's a product tour. Sometimes it could be just a little bit more of a thought leadership from the vendor side. I would say if we're talking about that second rung of who do I want to connect with, a leading question that I would want to, if I was an attendee, that I would want to ask an exhibitor is, will there be any sort of in-booth make and take style experiences or things that I can talk about your product, things that allow me to get product outside of creating a wish list. So outside of that scheduled events, I think on the exhibitor side, the discussion really would want to fall onto them to say, and you to say, is there anything that we can do in terms of an experience where you can show me the product in a different way, or I could maybe even a few days after the event has started or a week after the event has started, figure out a way to grab that new product and actually work with it.
Okay. Oh, you got to thank you for that.
Boom.
Nice, you nailed it. So let's see. Let's
I
see.
know there was one thing that I did want to cover, Peter, and it was regarding the new product showcase. So I know David covered it briefly in their fun video, but the new product showcase is another fun feature that we're going to be offering in Creativation. It's always a hit. So be sure to not only navigate all the buyer's guide listings, which are products from our exhibitors, but also the new featured products. And when you're kind of exploring those, know that if you do add those items to your wish list and you kind of favoriting them or bookmarking them, if you will, we will be doing a fun kind of announcement at the close of the event for the most popular new product showcase item. And we'll announce that in the closing session on Friday.
Mm-hmm. And, maybe Ryan, you could talk a little about what will the interactivity be like with some of the educational sessions? How might that be maybe different than, just doing Zoom, or are there other features to kind of note?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a couple different formats that, do adopt some, I would say, adopt some Zoom interactivity that, some things that we're used to, Q&A features, things like that. There are a vast majority of our sessions are a pre-recorded portion of the session topic, but questions that are happening maybe or asking you to answer in that live discussion box throughout. And then there's a live 10 to 15 minute portion that is pure Q&A. And so as we're live streaming these videos and these panelists and these speakers in, they'll be able to see those questions, be able to answer. But other people are thinking outside the box, during the keynote, when you sign up for that, or when that's already in your schedule, Joe is going to be in the actual live discussion box talking with you as that pre-recorded portion is playing. So you're kind of getting this in real time Q&A as you're setting the tone for the entire event. Other sessions are fully live. We have one session that's fully live that will be asking polls in the beginning, and they'll be able to react to those polls as they're being live streamed in. And then there's a couple of meet and greets and roundtable like formats where we may be taking you almost off campus into a Zoom environment where we can kind of continue to in that conversation, but actually also hear your voice in that conversation during those networking times.
We just saw there was a question that came in about it, samples. Usually on the as part of Creativation, one of the nice things is being able to get some of the samples from the different exhibitors. Is there how are we creating some opportunities for that? Jackie or Ryan, do you want to address that? Or
yeah, so at this point, the exhibitors and AFCI are not doing a combined effort in terms of getting samples out to our attendees. If you do run in, you are visiting the exhibit hall and you're browsing the new product showcase or the buyer's guide, or having these meetings with exhibitors, have those conversations about getting samples in hand, because it's challenging to have an exhibitor ship hundreds and hundreds of samples to individuals that are registered, different from shipping them to one event and being able to distribute them live. So if you are interested in samples, I know our exhibitors are willing to mail things out individually if you are, you do see something that's of interest to you. So we are asking that just attendees work with the exhibitors directly if you want to see some samples in hand. And then one thing I will note too is I know a lot of our exhibiting partners are doing specials and deals at the event, similar to what they do for the in-person. So those are some things that are featured in the booths, and things that you can also have conversations with all of the exhibitors.
Yeah, I mean, I think a huge benefit there too, just coming back from the strategy side of it, as you're connecting with those right exhibitors, now is the time to be proactive with them and asking them those questions so you can seize on those good deals and start kind of making those connections off the bat. Because, just depending on, what their schedules are, I know things might fill up fast, which I always think that might be the second thing you want to do after you set yourself up.
Yep. we just have a question, more of a technology question that we can address this, but it was just if I don't have a camera or microphone, I would just recommend if you want to contact us directly about that, we can try to figure out how you can get the most out of the experience. If you don't have a camera available.
I would say as a teaser. Yeah, it's like a teaser for that.
Yeah.
You might be, I think you can be able to even on your phone, that might be
that's what I was thinking. If you have a smartphone, then that would work, because this is, as Jackie had noted, also designed for mobile as well. So it has a really robust app that you can download. So another question was around networking sessions, and Jana, I hope you're still on. I know you've become the networking session guru. Do you want to talk a little bit about how those will work on the platform?
Sure, happy to, Peter. So each day there's a networking opportunity. Most are early in the morning. On Monday, we start out with Global Connection Plus. As AV and David mentioned, it is open to all attendees, but the topics are primarily focused on international attendees. And our goal there is to just start the discussion on March 15th, the first day of Creativation Plus, but to create a cohort of people that are interested in these topics that deal with supply chain issues, with marketing tools, technology solutions that people have been dealing with, especially in this last year. On Tuesday morning, we have 4 options for attendees to choose. There's 4 very interesting topics facilitated by subject matter experts. So there's a good variety there. You'll see all those next Monday, March 8th, as you go in to build your platform and choose your schedule. So you get to choose in advance. You can also move around that day if you want to hear a little bit of each topic. And remember that everything is recorded. So if you can't get live to a particular conversation, you will have access to that later. On Wednesday, we're doing a fun, just purely networking. We're calling it Brainiac Brainstorm, which is a trivia game that's going to be content from both AFCI and NAMTA. Then on Thursday, we're going to have one evening reception, and that's the emerging leaders are going to lead that. That's a really interesting group of NAMTA and AFCI members that are going to be talking about trends, critical topics, looking ahead a little bit. And then on Friday, speaking of looking ahead, we're going to look to Orlando 2022, and our NAMTA partners are primarily leading that, but that's collaborative too. So we're going to hear about what's going to be happening in April of 2022. We'll share information we know to date, but also hear from you about your interests and things that we can be keeping in mind as we finalize plans.
And then in terms of those live networking functions, those since they are live, they will be done via Zoom. So when you're in the platform and you do register for those, once you do come up to the time in which those events are taking place, there'll be a link that you join, and it will be you'll be joined into a Zoom meeting room.
Important to note too that because those are happening, I like to call them off campus because I don't know, I can never graduate from college, I guess. But if something is off campus or it is happening in Zoom, there's going to be other communications that are going to help lead up and ramp up to that. In that spirit, sign up for those networking events, sign up for those off-campus events, because that will help send a trigger to our teams to make sure that you are properly ready to go, that you have the link, that we have it on our roster, and that we can get you over from Swapcard into that Zoom experience. And again, that Zoom experience is really there to make sure that you can unmute your mic, to be vocal in that group setting. If there's breakout rooms as part of the forum, a lot of things that we can do in Zoom as well, that we want to make sure that we're getting our rosters all good to go.
And then we had another question about recorded sessions and availability on the platform. So I know Jackie, you are you've been really working closely with Swapcard. You want to talk a little bit about that and how that will work for people that are registered for the show?
Yeah, Ryan and I can probably tag team this one. So all sessions have been pre-recorded for the viewing during the event. And then Ryan, do you want to touch on what recordings will be available afterwards? The platform will be available to all registered attendees for 3 months. So you're able to go in at any point during the week of the event or after the fact to watch sessions, and they will live within the Swapcard platform.
Yeah, so we're going to be like recording that live stream experience. So you'll be able to kind of see the Q&A that's involved, any pre-recorded materials, any live materials. It's all going to be on one, all within one session. I would ask that you give us till Monday, the Monday after the event, so the 22nd, I believe, to make sure that all those videos are up there and ready to go. And then to Jackie's point, to echo that, as long as we have the access to Swapcard within those 3 months, we'll also have access to all of our educational sessions. Yeah, so it will all live in that scheduled event. So if you just click on that session again, it'll almost pop up as if it was like a playback or a replay.
Can I mention a couple other things related to the general sessions?
Please.
So as you go in to build your schedule, just like we would have at a live in-person event, we'll start each day both with the networking, but also with general session opportunities to gather. So we've got a number of industry panels that will provide great information. We've got a keynote on Monday morning, and on Monday through Thursday mornings, we'll also be presenting the AFCI awards. So we're going to split that up into 4 days and honor the award winners according to their contribution. So you will hear from them, you'll get an overview of the award itself, and so a little bit on each of those 4 days. So you'll see that on the schedule as well.
Okay, and then we also have questions about just the breakdown between NAMTA and AFCI. I don't have the full attendee breakdown, but we're expecting about 1,000 plus attendees, and then 90 plus exhibitors, and then I believe the breakdown with exhibitors is around 50-50. I know we also have some shared exhibitors with NAMTA. So yeah, we expect that there's a really great turnout in terms of attendees and just engagement of our exhibitors and those that have a long history of partnering with AFCI, and just a word of thanks to all those folks that that are participating this year as exhibitors, and we really appreciate your partnership. And I don't know if Jackie, was there anything else you wanted to share just about numbers?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add to that, thanks Peter, is when everyone is into the platform and exploring the exhibitors, there is a filter that does allow you to break down what association affiliation the companies are with. So whether they are a member and an existing exhibitor with NAMTA or AFCI, or they were a partner of both of our organizations, that is something that is indicated in the exhibitor section of Swapcard.
Okay. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm just reading a question that just came in. If you just give me a moment.
I'll say something too as some more questions are coming in. Just another little tidbit. Once you get your schedule, and this is also made clear in some of the how-to documents, I know that our lives are going to get busy, and multitasking is something that just never goes away. So once that schedule is completed, whether it's your exhibitor meetups and meetings, or it's your scheduled events, an agenda, if you go into that My Agenda, you'll be about how all that is scheduled out on the platform. I would always just say, click on that button that's on the right-hand side that says, add these to my calendar. And, that way, we're making sure that, if things run into meetings or things need to get changed or switched around, you'll have those notifications ready. Your calendar will also be up to date in case you ever have to leave the platform for, whatever reason. Anyway, that said, just another little life hack to make sure that our notifications and that we're staying staying sort of looped in even when we might have to leave for any reason.
Great. Well, I think we have about 4 minutes left. Is that right, Jackie? Okay. So I hopefully maybe there's 1 or 2 other questions, but maybe we could also just any final remarks, from Ryan, Jackie, Janet, Nikki. I know there were a couple of administrative questions that came in, which I believe we answered over the Q&A and chat. We also have Pete Cartwright on, who does a lot of our membership work. So if there are questions about the micro grants or any of those, Pete will follow up, because I saw a couple of things come through there. So, but anyway, Ryan and Jackie, any final remarks, comments?
Yeah, so just the one thing I wanted to just reiterate, and I know it was mentioned previously, but the invitations into the event will come into your inboxes on Monday, March 8th. So if you don't get access at that point, you can certainly reach out to us, but our emails are triggered to allow everybody in on Monday, and it will include a special link that's customized to you. So please do not share that email with anyone. It's for you only. Click on the link and create your password, and you are ready to start making the most of your event. And then I know it was maybe noted here before, but this entire webinar and session is being recorded. So if there's something that we covered that we either covered too fast or you wanted to circle back on, it will be available on the AFCI website, as well as be sent out in an email communication in the next day or so.
Yeah, I like to say, in terms of this upcoming week, and as you're poking around and getting familiar with the platform, you'll hear it on Monday, but I think it also deserves to be heard on this webinar here. Find yourself a swim buddy. Find yourself somebody who you can virtually go on the platform and go into the event with. This is where networking really, really shines, not just in clicking buttons and making sure that people's times are there. That's a huge feature, and we're so thankful that the platform is allowing for all that to happen. But finding that swim buddy, finding that accountability partner to say, hey, I'm going to go on these sessions with this person because we align with our business, with what we want for our business goals, or we align with what we want to learn going into 2021. Take that time. I think is going to be really, really helpful as well. So just another little, I guess, life hack.
Yeah. One other question came in just in terms of tech support. So that will be, we have not only our staff there throughout Creativation Plus, and we have I believe a little help desk for folks that are there, but we also have the folks from Swapcard that are providing tech support as well. So we will have you covered in all aspects of the virtual show. And just to say, I totally love the idea of the swim buddy. I mean, I think when we all go to conferences, especially if you're coming from the same organization or business, it's you kind of have to strategize, how you're going to get the most out of it for your company. And I love the analogy to a swim buddy. So thank you, Ryan, for bringing that up. And with that, I don't know anything else. Ryan, Jackie, any other questions coming? Swim to the top. I like that. Swim to the top.
Have fun. Have fun. That's the other thing. Have a lot of fun. We're gonna have fun. Have fun with us.
We will have fun. Yeah. So with that, thank you. Thanks to everyone for participating today. We're really looking forward to virtually seeing you in just a couple weeks. And please get on the 8th. We want to see you build those profiles and get the most out of it. And again, thanks to everyone. Thanks to AV and David, and have a great rest of your week. Thanks. Bye.